You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome into another late night Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. As always, thanks for making us your first listen after the final out and your post-game destination. And boy, do we have more fun stuff to talk about. The Tigers scored 2 runs. How about that? And it was the bullpen that gave up the 3 runs in the bottom half of the 8th. A 3-run bomb off Shelby Miller. And the Angels win it 5-2. We'll break it all down, discuss Kenta Maeda's outing, and continue to find new ways to talk about how bad this offense is. It all happens next on Locked On Tigers Postcast. So buckle up, dial it in, and if you need more coffee after staying up late for another West Coast game, go ahead and fill that up as we go here. But as always, we thank you for making Locked On Tigers Postcast your first listen following the final out. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, which is your friendly reminder. If you haven't yet, subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Tigers Postcast. Whoa, how about that? Let's start it over. Let's get a do-over, just like the Tigers wish they could have a do-over in the 8th inning. This episode of Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. So there you have it, my friends. Get in the comments right away because I'm running out of ways to say it, and I apologize. I'm dealing with a weird head cold, not even cold, but just I can't hear myself very well. So I hope everybody can hear me, and I guess just watching as much Tigers baseball as I have has just made me sick. It's made me ill. The Tigers are physically making me ill, but we got a lot of people watching even for a late night West Coast game. And I applaud you because there's times I don't feel like watching this team because it is the same thing over and over and over again. This team was gifted 4 walks in an inning and you get 2 runs. The only 2 runs for the game. And then after that, I think it was 18 straight retired to end the game. Hadn't had a hit since the leadoff single in the one. I guess I could pull up the box score and go through it, but that just sounds nauseating to do, just like watching this team is every night. And I kind of contemplated, this is where it feels like, and I put it on the graphic, the point of no return, the flip the table game, the scream, shake some face mask game. I know that's a football analogy, but if I'm AJ Hinch, is this the game where I grab people and I just get so upset because, my goodness, something's got to change. And I know baseball's a different sport where you play every single day, but there's just no life to this team. And anybody seen the movie Angels in the Outfield, the original one, and they flip over the tables and at the beginning and the food goes everywhere. I want someone to do that for the Tigers. If I were in charge, which is a very, very scary thought, I admit, this would be a game for me where I would have a meltdown. And you talk to a lot of coaches. I was fortunate enough. My father coached at the collegiate level at Northwood University for many, many years. A lot of my mentors in life and close male influences in my life are all coaches. They always talk about how you have a couple of blow-ups throughout the season in the hopper to really get your team's attention. And I just feel like tonight, for whatever reason, if I was AJ Hinch, I would blow up at this team. I mean, it's just one thing after another. You got Wenzel Perez and Andy Ibanez not playing the ball correctly, and that blue fly ball that finds a way to fall and in the home half of the 7th inning. Now, it didn't come back to harm the Tigers. They blew it in the 8th inning, but it's just, I mean, you're on the West Coast. It's part of a long road trip, and I don't know. My patience are up with this team, and I didn't feel this way last night. It's just, I don't know, it's another loss and a shutout. And I just feel like tonight it was Kenta Maeda actually turned in a decent start. Hopefully he's all right after the line drive that hit him. And I know I'm going all over the place, but I would be ready to come unglued if I'm a member of that Tigers coaching staff, or maybe even a player. How about a player step up? And there's not really any veteran leadership on this team. I guess you could say Mark Canha, but it's just his first year with the team. But who on this team is going to say enough is enough, guys? Like this can't go on anymore. And I know, again, it's not the same like in other sports where you don't play every day. And in basketball, for example, sometimes if the other team shoots it better than you, then you lose. And baseball, your bats are just cold, or in I think the Tigers case, just really, really bad. But appreciate everybody tuning in as always. I wasn't really sure where this Locked On Tigers postcast was going to go, because it's late night. It's Locked On Tigers postcast after dark. It's a third consecutive loss, and they're one game, this being a 4-game series with the Angels, they're one game away from a 6-series loss in their last 7, and it's just derailing fast. So let's get to the comments already. And what a comment to start off with from Brandon Lyons. I truly feel bad for you. You have the sorry excuse of a franchise. Yeah, Brandon. I'm sorry. It shouldn't crack me up as much as it does, but yeah, you said it, my friend. That's where, and the worst part is it just hasn't been this way for a long time. This is, and it hasn't been this bad for a sustained amount of time in a long time, I'd say. Again, the 2003 team, I remember how bad they were, and my father telling me how bad of a team that was. And you could kind of cherry pick years and years where it really got away. But this is just going on a decade of nothingness. Tony Witherspoon has a comment in here. Only reason we scored was because Plesac couldn't throw strikes. We had less hits tonight. Yeah, that's what I mean. They just gift wrapped the Angels, that is, with all those walks in whatever inning that was. Again, and I apologize. I should be more dialed into it. So yes, in the top of the 3rd inning is where Plesac had 4 walks, and he went just 2 2/3. And all 4 walks coming in 1 inning. And you even had to hit in that inning, and you couldn't manufacture more than 2 runs. Because you go back to that 3rd inning, and it's just gift after gift after gift, and the Tigers really couldn't do anything about it. And I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but I think some credit to Kenta Maeda after allowing the first. The Angels had 2 runs after the first 2 batters, then he actually settled in, and before the 3-run homer, and to Maeda's credit, he gets through the day through the night with one of his better starts overall. And you look at the box score, and you might cherry pick this one as one of Maeda's best starts in a Tigers uniform. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. And again, the first 2 batters of the game, just the 1 walk with 4 strikeouts, and threw 87 pitches, 52 of them for strikes. And I'm critical of Kenta Maeda often on this program, and he actually performed decently tonight. So it's that 3rd inning for the Tigers when you're gifted I'm sorry, I can't even say it without laughing. When you're gifted 4 walks in an inning and you score 2 and then go hitless the rest of the game, you just can't make it up with this team. And I know it was all done with 2 outs where you had Urshela and Rogers make the first 2 outs, and then Kreidler, to his credit, singles, and that's when all the walks come. It just, you couldn't get that big hit from Colt Keith after the 2 runs had been walked home, still with the bases loaded. Colt Keith just grounds out. So I felt like that was not necessarily where the game was lost, because it's still tied and you've got a chance, but it certainly was a significant missed opportunity. Other comments to get to: Tony Witherspoon, they need a manager like Leland that would show some fire. Hinch doesn't have that. Yeah, that's we talk about this. Rieger and I, my good buddy Jeff Rieger from 97 Won the Ticket, would talk about this. That time where the Tigers lost to the Cleveland Indians, and they were the Cleveland Indians then. I know Cleveland Guardians before everyone gets at me in the comments. The time they lost and Leland just blew up on the Tigers clubhouse, the players. And again, I use the Angels in the outfield referenced earlier in the program. And oh man, it's gonna bug me. George, who's the name of the coach or the manager in Angels in the outfield, where he just blows up and he's screaming at the players and throwing the food everywhere. Oh, that's gonna bug me. Let's see if I can remember who it was in the movie. Oh, I can picture it. Oh well, maybe somebody in the comments can help me out. But that's a great one. The Angels in the outfield. George Knox. That's what we've resorted to tonight on Locked On Tigers Postcast, is talking about George Knox. I want AJ Hinch to take a book out of George Knox's managing playbook and just get after his team. Oh, other comments to get to. Word Vanjo here. 2 hits, no chance, no change. Yeah. Yep. Oh, man. Yep. Matt Wood in the comments. Jake Rogers can call on the power of his mustache and flip some tables. He's been there long enough. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I really enjoyed Jake Rogers when I would cover games in the clubhouse. He just would provide candid answer. He was always kind to the media. And just seemed like he had a good head on his shoulders. So yeah, maybe that is from a leadership perspective. Yeah, it's just like, it's not like any of these guys are performing either. So it falls on everybody. But one segment in the books. We got 2 more to get to. We'll talk about that disaster 8th inning for Shelby Miller. I think it was more of just making one mistake that really cost him. And then I got a question for everybody. Is this the point of no return? Because, like I said, it's easy to get down in the dumps when your team is playing as bad of a brand of baseball as the Tigers are. And honestly, I am there. And I think you hear it in the tone of my voice. So I got that question for you that we'll wrap up with here on a late night edition of Locked On Tigers Postcast. Back in a moment. This episode of Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rivals' cities. That's right. With hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rival's city. How about that, sports fans? Who could believe it? I remember as a kid going to all the different baseball towns, and with my grandparents, they would take us, of course, to all the AL Central teams. We'd go to Cleveland, Minnesota, but I love one trip. We took the train to Toronto and stayed in downtown Toronto for a series with the Blue Jays. I even remember Pudge Rodriguez signing a baseball for my brother. Those are the memories you can't replace. And as any fan would enjoy those types of memories, you got to make sure you use Booking.com, Booking.yeah, for all your hotel needs. From hotels that overlook the stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices from across the U.S. for your summer travel this season. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com, on the site, or in the Booking.com app. Today's show also made possible by my friends over at eBay Motors. We love eBay Motors here on Locked On Tigers Postcast because we're talking about passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. And I'm talking superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights. Who doesn't love a good LED headlight? And so much more. So whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. And with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, just like the Tigers are guaranteed to disappoint you every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, this one went array in the bottom half of the eighth inning. You could feel it happening. Shelby Miller on the bump. You got two men on, and as soon as that ball left the bat, you just knew it was gone. Goodbye baseball, goodbye game, goodbye any sort of semblance of pride or all right, maybe I'm getting a little exaggerated, a little out of hand, but any sort of chance for the Tigers to win this game when Logan O'Hoppe homered to left. I mean, 418 feet. 3 runs come home, and see you later, ball game. See you later, any sort of hope with this franchise. Okay, again, that's a little bit much, but you get the point. It just was such a deflating night. And again, if I'm AJ Hinch, I just go full on George Knox in the clubhouse because I'm so tired of it. Everybody's got to be so tired of it. Some more comments to get to. My man, Neil Rule, voice of the Golden Grizzlies, the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Hey, shout out to Jack Golke. I saw he signed with the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's awesome. That's still my, if I have my Mount Rushmore of state of Michigan stories for this year, that one is certainly on there. Tigers are as close to Cleveland as the White Sox are to us. Think about that. Yeah, it's so disheartening. And that's actually really good perspective when you think about where this team was even 2-3 weeks ago before the month of June, tinkering on being somewhat relevant and staying in the conversation, trying to have those meaningful conversations leading up to the trade deadline. If maybe this team is a bat away, or maybe if Scott Harris one time decided to, reach into his pocketbook and Chris Ilitch rather reach into his pocketbook and pay a guy to pay one more bat where this team could have been. But yeah, we are close to the White Sox as we are to Cleveland. It's just a sad state of where this team is. Mary Jo Isaacson, can always count on some positivity from her. Sad when I knew it was a home. Oh yeah, the second comment there was going to give a home run. Yeah, I mean, it just left the bat and it was gone. Top of the hour with Corey Leland. Goodbye, Tarek. LOL. Yeah. We had a deep dive into that conversation last night, unfortunately. And I wish, honestly, you guys know me. I wish I could just flip the switch and bring some positivity in some way. But I'm not going to insult anybody. I'm not going to and try to spew the propaganda and the BS that you see on BS Detroit, Bally Sports Detroit. And I mean, this is Locked On Tigers postcast, and this is how I feel. It's a really, really sad state of reality. And that's where I have this debate with people all the time. Oh, you're not a true fan if you turn on your team. No, I'm a smart fan. Like I don't want to subject myself to, I mean, it's insanity. You're doing the same thing and expecting a different result at this point. And, I know that it comes across and Scott Harris will tell you got to be more patient, but I'm just not. And this town has dealt with such irrelevancy, so much of being a loser franchise, a joke of a franchise compared to this organization that used to mean something. It used to mean something to wear the old English D. And you hear it from former players. And I know the broadcast crew with Dan Petrie and well, I don't know what's going on with Craig Monroe. That's a whole nother story, but he was on a team that went to the World Series. And, I know he's not with the broadcast team anymore, and say what you will, but Jack Morris, and those are just there. This was a franchise that had iconic faces that it still means a lot. And obviously Kirk Gibson, I meant to mention him from the beginning, and, take out their broadcasting ability, say what you will about that, but they cared. They stuck around because the Detroit Tigers meant something and the old English D meant something. And over the better part of the last decade, it's just nothingness. I mean, who do you look back at over the last decade and hold your hat up for and tip of the cap to who, to what, to, since Verlander was traded? I mean, there's just, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. So, wow, it's just brutal any way you slice it. Welcome. We've got Nick Looning checking in. First time here, long-time Locked On Lions fan. Matt Derry, what a guy, man. I had the opportunity to be on Derry's show a couple weeks ago now, but man, I am so looking forward to the fall, the 1-2 punch we're going to have with Locked On Lions. He'll bring you all the day-to-day from Monday through Friday. I'll have you covered on game day for Locked On Lions postcast. Brighter days and brighter times are ahead. I can't wait to hear the crack of the pads in training camp and so on and so forth in the preseason. Oh man, that's something we can all get excited about. Comment coming in here from YouTube user. I don't know if that's truly your name, but shout out YouTube user. AJ Hinch has lost this clubhouse. I agree. And I'm done with the hype with AJ Hinch and the defenders and the propaganda. It's just, come on. I mean, year 4 here, where are we? I guess a better way to put it, I'm apathetic about it. I mean, someone sell me on AJ Hinch and what are we listening to? A guy that gets the most out of it. I don't even know. And boy, I feel like Chris Farley on Tommy Boy when his father just passes away and he just goes, boy, do I sound like an idiot right now. That's what I feel like trying to talk about this team. And again, that's as transparent as I can be. Maybe, you'll tune in to other shows and really want to break this down. Why can't the Tigers hit? And, let's look at the pitch tunnel and the wind clock exit velo and the Tigers records on night games when the wind is less than 12 miles. Like, I got nothing for you. That's not me. And I think maybe that as the season progresses, I'll have to get more creative. And I know earlier this year we did the GIF therapy on Twitter. Maybe we'll bring that back because right now it's just the eye roll GIF of just like, I got nothing. I can't do it. So we'll close it out. Tigers have now lost 3 in a row and 5 of their last 6. And it's probably worse than that. Honestly, as the games continue to pile up here, you just feel like, okay, what at what point do you just, again, clock out a little bit? And if you already have, I don't blame you one bit because other than Tarek Skubal, I don't know what you can possibly hang your hat on. I mean, 3-7 in their last 10, and now they're just continuing to plummet lower and lower and lower behind that 500 mark. So we will wrap it up, tie a bow on it. And hey, I want to give everybody a shout out that has made it all the way through. I mean, this is a late night broadcast. Obviously, we're past midnight in Eastern Daylight Savings Time or Eastern Standard Time. I don't know. I honestly get a little confused with the time zones, not going to lie. Sometimes it's Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes it's Eastern Daylight Time. But you know what I'm trying to say. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. So we'll take one more quick break and be back in just a moment. Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by my friends over at Game Time. And now normally I would tell you Game Time is the #1 ticketing app, is the only ticket app you'll need. And that all is true. I would also follow it up with, hey, if you're going to a Tigers game, use the Game Time app. But let me do you one better. If you're going to utilize your free time, your discretionary income, don't go to a Tigers game. Go to a comedy show. Go to a concert. I know it was always Pine Knob, then DT. Now it's back to Pine Knob. Go to Pine Knob for an outdoor concert, drink some beer, have a good time, and use the Game Time app to get your ticket. The Game Time app is real simple. It rewards you for being a procrastinator by giving you the best deal and the lowest price guaranteed. As you get closer and closer to the day of the event or the night of the event, whatever it may be, those prices get lower and lower. And with flash deals, you can always find the best possible price. And here's the game changer. Game Time, game changer. Yeah, that just came to me just like that. How about that, sports fans? The all in pricing. Oh my goodness. There's honestly nothing worse than when you think you get a deal on a ticket to an event and you go to check out and all of a sudden the fees and the expenses and the add-ons are more than the actual ticket. And before you know it, like, this isn't a good deal anymore. No, with Game Time's all in pricing, you can see exactly what you're going to pay. On top of that, super easy to use app. You get a nice high-res photo of where you're going to be sitting from or what the view is from your seats, so there's no deception. It checks all the boxes for the only ticketing app you need. So download the Game Time app today. Use that code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. It's right on the screen there. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off and take the stress out of buying tickets to live events, because it shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun, and Game Time focuses on that. They take all the worry out of it. So don't take my word for it. Download the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. And terms do apply, but create that account. Redeem code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we wrap it up, and I've gone a little bit long, and that's a shout out to each and every one of you tuning in, because we've had a lot of good comments that have come in, and we've been able to discuss that. So this last segment here is not going to take very long, but it feels like this is the point of no return. I'm on family vacation. I'm doing anything besides wasting my time with the 2024 Detroit Tigers. And I think as a fan, you reserve the right to change that if new information becomes available. Let's say that new information in the tune of it'd be crazy, but maybe like a win streak. How about that? Then sure, come on back in. But if you're done with the Tigers and we're not even to the All-Star break yet, I don't blame you. Because tonight you've seen a lifeless ball club, and the comment that AJ Hinch has lost the clubhouse, I think that one, I think there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to this team not having any sort of fight. Like, when's the last time you saw someone slam a helmet or something? And I know I'm being a little bit, elementary or whatever. I don't know how you would describe it. And maybe I'm not seeing the big picture and everything. And these are just consummate professionals. It's another day in the office, but I want to see something that shows this team has some life, maybe a bench clearing brawl or something. I mean, just anything to get us out of the monotony of everyday baseball of a bad team losing over and over and over again. Like, why doesn't AJ Hinch go pull a Lou Piniella or something and kick dirt on the umpire and throw a base around or something? Or like, I'm not advocating for a pitcher to hit somebody, but this team just needs something to wake them up, because I feel like I care more. I care more than AJ Hinch. I watch his post-game pressers. I hear the comments, the interviews, and God forbid, I talked about it the other day when my good buddy Jim Costa actually said, "You think you're doing a good job?" And he was just so taken aback by that. What kind of question? Like, God forbid anybody hold the Detroit Tigers accountable other than with the people we've got on tonight's stream and the fine folks over at 97.1 The Ticket. Valley Sports isn't going to. But a couple more comments to get to. We've got Eddie, GM malpractice, going west with no changes. Eddie's also getting in the comments here. Tigers hitting coach should get pink slips. Malloy tanked. Yeah, I mean, the pitching coach, the hitting coaches, and it's Michael Berdar and Keith Beauregard. Yeah, like, you just miss me with all of this. If I'm a Tigers fan, like, what proof in the pudding do we have to look for? Absolutely nothing. One more here from Eddie. True, Hinch is very passive and indifferent. Yeah, so I actually might just go watch Angels in the Outfield now, because I talked about it so much. And George Knox, that's our guy. I want to see some George Knox out of AJ Hinch. And maybe they wouldn't do anything, but it certainly couldn't make anything worse, because this is just a lifeless ball club. So appreciate everybody staying up late with me on a West Coast late night Locked On Tigers After Dark edition. It's always a pleasure to be on the air. Same time tomorrow. What's that? PTI, when Michael Wilbon says same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. I won't call you guys, everybody, knuckleheads, but same time tomorrow is another late one, Saturday night edition. And maybe we'll have something fun to talk about. And I apologize that I felt like I was a little bit negative tonight, but you deserve the truth. You deserve the transparency, the honesty, and everything else. And the cold, hard truth is this team sucks, and they're boring and lifeless and just a low market, bottom tier, small market, whatever, low budget, small market. There it is. Finally worked together there. Franchise that just, I miss the old days, put it that way. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you guys tomorrow night.